Can you hear me? Most of you, I've seen some of your faces, some of you are here, but those of you are online also, welcome to the session. This sessions we have started conducting to help students to understand how mains papers can be actually looked at. You are probably going to write 2026. So we would like to show you how mains answers can be actually. The programs that the institute has done so far for 2025, those who are writing mains 2025, every year for the past 3-4 years, we've been doing strategic revision for mains. It's called SRM 2025 this time. This year, we have also started mission mains 2026. That is, if you are aiming, suppose you did not clear prelims for whatever reason and you are looking to appear for the next year, we didn't want you to feel like there's nothing to do right now, okay? Because your planning should be long term, and we are here to help you assist how to make those long term plans, okay? So, coming to the sessions themselves, I'm very happy and proud to say that all the factors that would come in 2025 have appeared, and I want to be very clear in terms of what we claim and what we don't claim. Here it is more than nobody can give straight question right. You know, whatever will come in UPSC, it will not come exactly word to word like that. But it's the essence, it's the topic, it's, you know, if it's essay, understanding the theme of it, and how you can write an essay. Most of the essays you have seen are all philosophical based essays in essay paper, and how that theme can be answered, and what are the strategies, how should you think, how should you brainstorm. These are the things that we cover in the classes. And coming to GS papers also, there was a lot of effort put in to give you the right content. We have seen many schedules from various schedules that we have seen. They were going up to December, you know, spreading out all the subjects up to December, which we thought is not the right way to approach, because students need the content that they need ahead of time. So what we did was strategic revision for mains. Like, we wanted the people preparing for 2026 also to have the mindset like you're writing mains very soon. So we had them attend the revision classes. We have the same revision classes for both strategic revision and mission mains, because we want students to understand what is the content. Many students come to us asking, ma'am, what is the content? Where should I study from? What notes should I read? You know, they have no notes ready for mains, and this situation will not really help you to make multiple revisions, which is very, very essential to do well in mains. So we wanted to solve this problem, and also there are multiple other problems that students face, like not knowing how to put the content that they are reading to understand the demand of the question and how to address it with proper side headings, how to add value additions, where to get value additions from. Ma'am, should I prepare current affairs separately, or how do I manage everything? So students have multiple questions, and this is our effort from R.C.Reddy IAS Study Circle to help you all with all these different issues. Okay, I understand yesterday also I've counseled some students who have notes prepared. They are good with certain areas, but they're not good with, you know, probably essay or GS3, but they're good with GS1, GS2 and other papers. So from our experience, we have seen that students would benefit from a revision program like this. And those of you who are planning to give 26, could you please raise your hands? Okay. Anybody online also, please raise your hand. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So now, you know, we are on September 1st, right? Yesterday, mains is done. Now is the phase for the next year. Whoever has prelims phobia, if anybody of you is worried about prelims also, the institute is here to help you with prelims as well. Okay, so our revision programs are catered to help you understand what is needed in the exam. Many students have all the knowledge that they can acquire, they are acquiring it, but they do not know how to apply it in the exam. And that is why these revision programs have been very carefully tailored to help you all approach the exam with confidence. So I just want to take 2 minutes to help you understand where we are with respect to mission mains. I hope are you able to see it? Those of you are in the back? No? Okay. So this is the mission mains plan that we had. Right now we are in step 5, almost here. We started this, we had an orientation session in June for this, and we started with an individual assessment for the students here. So the individual assessment was to help you understand how to assess yourself, where you are standing in terms of your answer writing right now. So for all the students who joined mission mains, we did an individual assessment, and the revision classes are done now, but the recorded sessions are available. But the revision classes, like I just mentioned, were common for both strategic revision, whoever was giving 2025, or those who are planning to give 2026. The aim here is the revision classes, your static notes, how do you approach answer writing, how should I understand the demand of the question. We will give you all those information, and let me mention, each and every faculty and mentor who's taking these sessions have themselves been up to civil services interview. We do not take anybody as a mentor for our revision programs who has not gone up to that stage. And we have very carefully selected whoever was teaching, and we have had a really good response from all the students who have taken the sessions, though the number students are just beginning to know what the institute is offering, and I know that more students will come to that place where they see the quality in terms of what is being offered, and that they do not have to run to Delhi or do not have to run to a course in Delhi only to clear mains. Okay, so it is the right attitude and having the right guidance with the right people, with the notes that we offered, and in-class answer writing was done, and mentorship was continuously done for the program. And coming to they also gave the full-length simulation test. Their classes were finished right before mains. They also gave the simulation test like somebody who's giving 2025. So this created in them a sense that I'm going to write mains next year, I do not have to bother. No, we want you all to understand that you should never put off writing full-length test or writing answers. If you only sit and acquire information and you expect to do well in answer writing, it's not going to happen. So we also did a benchmark individual assessment again for each of those students. And coming to right now, they're writing their test series, which we call MTM. Right now, we are offering this also as a program where mission mains test series with mentorship, where all the tests from now on up to November ending, all the subjects will be covered, and the students will be mentored directly by the faculty or mentor who has taken the particular subject. Like I mentioned, all of them have gone up to interview. So, and coming to the mentorship itself, this is very individually oriented for the students. And then before 2026, again, we will have our strategic revision for mains 2026 anyways. And then value addition classes will separately be conducted again for 2026. So this is the cycle. I wanted all of you to understand the cycle in which the program has been planned and designed to help all those aspirants, not just giving, we didn't want you all to have a short-term view. Please evolve into that long-term thinking so that you have the opportunity to be, in a better place in terms of revision and having the right notes and content and mentorship. So if any one of you have questions regarding this program or anything, we'll also send you out a message regarding the Mission Mains test series that 2 sectionals have been done already. Geography and society is done. Next, history they'll be writing this Wednesday. So all this they're doing with the revision class notes that they have in hand. So there is no question regarding, ma'am, what should I read or how should I prepare? That question will not arise for them. So if you're interested to know more about it, you can reach out to us as well. All of you have registered to this. So this sessions that we are conducting from today onwards is to help you understand again 2025 papers and how to address those and the overlap that has come with our program as well. So with all our heart, we wish you all the best and we want you all to get the best out of these programs. Okay? All the best. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible at the back? Yes? Okay. So today we'll do discussion about UPSC essay 2025. So UPSC continues the same pattern of question in your essay paper, that is your philosophical quote based. Right? So starting from majorly 2017, the questions which have been asked in essay paper have centered around quotes, have centered around philosophical quotes or any quote given by some leader. Now the thing is, when you are preparing for such a paper in which quotes are coming, it's very difficult to predict, right? They can pick up any quote under the sun and they can ask you, right? That makes the paper difficult because if you see pre-2017, there used to be different themes. Okay, education-based essay will come, essay based on federalism will come. There was one essay, simple essay used to come, okay. Federalism in India, boon or bane. Very simple, you need just simple GS knowledge and you can write that essay. Right? So essays used to be very straightforward and you can club them that okay, health related, education related, governance related, polity related, science and tech related. Essays used to be very simple in nature. Now over the time what has happened is essays have turned into quote based essays. Right? Which needs you to learn the art of writing essays. You cannot prepare each and every quote. But if you crack the code, that how do I proceed if any code comes in the paper? How do I crack that code or how do I have a common framework that no matter which essay topic is coming, no matter which quote is coming, I should be able to write that essay. That is more important. So even if you go through keys of last 5 years essays or last 10 years essay, they will be of no benefit. Because until and unless you know how to write it, you know the art of writing philosophical essay, you can read 100 essays also. I'll give you the key of all essays, all 8 essays. But they will be useless because next year same topics won't be repeated. Right? Although there might be a little overlap that we'll discuss in today's session, but verbatim same topics never come. So now this creates a situation, then how do I attempt philosophical essays? How do I fill up at least 7 to 8 pages where I write 1000, 1200 words? How do I expand it? If they're asking about truth, how do I expand it to 7 pages to 8 pages? What all should I be writing? If tomorrow something else comes, some random quote comes, how should I be writing? So that is the main thing which you should be targeting. Not that, okay, I should have SAP or this essay also, this essay also. That will not benefit you. Because next year, some more quotes will come up. Right? So our aim today first here is art of writing quote-based essays. What should be my thought process? How should I be brainstorming? No matter which quote I am reading, how do I proceed with it? Now, if someone is saying pestle approach, sorry to say, pestle approach no longer works. It doesn't work in philosophical. Anybody who says pestle approach is working is giving you wrong information. Pestle approach works for your philosophical essay. Pestle approaches, you write political, economic, social, technological, legal, environmental points and your essay is done. It doesn't work right now. UPSC ecosystem with respect to the questions which they ask, it keeps on changing, it is evolving. So one strategy which worked 2 years ago, 3 years ago might not work today. So you have to keep on improvising, you have to keep on improving. And how to know to which framework or to which answer UPSC is giving marks? You have to analyze topper's copy. What is working and what is not working in the essay. This you have to know. Right? So these few things, initial things you should keep in mind. Less focus on reading 10 books or 20 books, more focus on strategy. More focus on a single framework which I can use for all the quote-based essays. This should be your aim. Right? Now, let's just first analyze this year's paper before we move on to the essay topic. Now, first thing you have to do is go through the previous year questions, right? Analyze what is the basic theme of the essays. So, say for example, this year there were 2 essays. Truth knows no color, thought finds a word and creates one also. So the major common theme here is truth, perception and reality. And this is not the first time that an essay has come on the topic or the theme of truth. In previous time also, there has been one essay regarding truth, which was Wisdom Finds Truth in UPSC 2019. So it means there is a common theme in the essay that is about truth. So from your side, what you can do is try to find quotes with respect to a common topic about truth. Right? Then thought finds a word and creates also. Now here the common theme is ideas or thoughts. Now on this similar theme, in UPSC 2013 there was a question, be the change you want to see in the world. Change your perception and then the world will change. It is also about thoughts. How you bring about a change in yourself and then you change the world. Right? Then there was in UPSC 2023 there was another essay. There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. So again, a common theme about thoughts, ideas is there. So it means you should have certain idea about the themes which are recurrent in UPSC. They usually ask essay upon improvement, how to learn from mistakes, how to learn from your experiences. And similar essays have come over the years. I'll just show it to you. So your job first should be, in the last 10 years, identify the basic theme out of it. Not the entire quote, but what is the basic theme behind it. Whether it's about women empowerment, whether it's about truth, whether it's about ideas, whether it's about diplomacy also, say for example, last year there was this year the essay which was given in section 1 was the supreme art of power is to subdue the enemy without fighting. And last year there was one essay which was empires of future will be empires of mind. Now, if you closely observe, and this I am talking about last year, 2024, and this came in 2025, both the quotes are saying you don't have to fight a war. You don't have to kill people. You can kill with ideas, right? Metaphorically. So, you need to probably manipulate someone. You need to use your soft power. You need to use your diplomatic skills. And then you can win the war. You don't need to lift even one sword. Through diplomatic efforts, you can win something, and both of them have a similar theme. Right? There's one similar quote is there, that army of thoughts or army of principles, they penetrate more deeper than your army of soldiers. Again, same thing. That you don't have to fight, you don't have to do a bloodshed. Now here take an example, we'll discuss in detail also. In ancient history, all of you have studied about your Emperor Ashoka, Mauryan king. After Kalinga war, he realized war is not a solution, he was moved by the bloodshed. Next, what did he do? He had his policy of Dham. Right? Now this was not just he became a Buddhist or he became spiritual or he left. He didn't ever leave his kingdom. He was there. He was ruling. But he changed the strategy. I will not fight a war. What I will do is I will try to subdue the people through ideas. That be non-violent, respect all religion, have tolerance, respect elders. Now this is controlling people through ideas. Without even fighting with them. You are controlling such a big empire just through thoughts. Now this is also a similar essay to this. And now if a student would have been sincere enough last year to solve the PYQ, say this one, this would have been a cakewalk. You just need to change few words. Examples will remain same, introduction will remain same. That is why I always stress whether it's GS paper, whether it's essay, whether it's optional. PYQs are the best source for predicting your next year's paper. What are the favorite topics of UPSC? What are the favorite themes of UPSC? Which questions get repeated more often? You will get it through PYQs only. If you have read Lakshmikant, in preamble chapter, it's given that preamble is the key to minds of constitution makers. You read the preamble, that's the key to their minds, who are not even living today. Similarly, PYQs are key to the minds of UPSC paper setters. You can very easily predict things. There is a lot of overlap with the questions which come. Otherwise, there are zillions of codes which are present. You can Google it, you will get so many quotes. And any quote can become a question now. So you need to go through the previous year question, try to see which are repeating things which they are asking. Next, if you see theme with respect to learning or experience in life or growth, 2 essays this year were on the same theme. This is also 2025 question and this is also 2025 question. Best lessons are learned through bitter experiences. The years teach much which the days never know. Both of them are about learning, growing in life, learning from experiences. This is talking about bitter experiences and this is talking about that time is the greatest teacher. over time you gather experiences, right? Day to day your life is going on, right? And when they add up, they give you experience in life. That is why a person who is older to you, you listen to him because time has given him lot of lessons more than you. So this was a common theme in the same year, and when we see in the previous years, there has been a recurrent theme about learning from experiences or growth in life or change in life. One was a ship in harbor is safe. A ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ship is for. That if you consider a ship, when it is parked in a harbor, it is safe. When it is not going in the seas, it will not drown. There will be no wear and tear in your ship. It will be safe. But that is not the purpose of ship. Ship was made to sail in waters. If you are parking it in the harbor, it is not realizing its true potential. Growth, similarly, this is a metaphor. Similarly, growth in life happens through experiences. When you move out of your comfort zone, if you are in a safe location or your safe haven in your homes, you will never learn a thing. You learn through experiences. When you go out, when you move out of your comfort zone. Now see, this essay topic came in 2022. Although not exactly same, but the core theme is same. You have to learn through experience. Right? You don't learn things by sitting at your home. You learn through bitter experiences. You learn with time. So it means UPSC's favorite topic is around learning, experience, growth. There is one quote which, when I take PCM classes for essay, there is one quote we always do, which is, life is understood backwards and lived forward. That you learn from your previous experiences, but you live in the present. Now, this essay is also having the same theme. Now, if you have identified this theme, around this core theme, any quote can come. You will have good enough content already available with you. So, I always say that UPSC preparation is very technical in nature. When people say it's very difficult, any random question can come. No, random questions don't come. There is a theme which you have to identify. You have to see the core things which they usually ask, which are important things. Similarly, in essay, you have to identify core themes. I'll share a document in a week also on the channel, where I will tell you from the last 10 years what have been the recurrent themes, what have been the overlapping themes. You have ready-made content on that. You will be good to go for your essays. Because essay right now has become very difficult for students. And the unfortunate thing is, they remember about essay only after prelims. In 2-3 months, I cannot teach you how to write essays. Essay is an art which develops slowly. Overnight, you can never learn how to write essay. You can learn a GS answer, you can learn an optional concept overnight, but never how to write an essay. You have to expand one line quote into 7 to 8 pages. It needs time. You need to learn that art. Your language has to be good. Your flow has to be good with the essay, which develops over time with practice. You start with a bad essay and then you improve on that. Right? So, one advice if you want to take from me is, essay is one paper which pays a lot. When you study GS1, you study so many things: ancient, medieval, post-independence, world history, society, geography. and then the 250 paper is complete. For essay, there is not even a book which you have to read. Just skill development, skill of writing, that's it. And trust me, once you write 5 to 7 essays, you will learn the art. You will realize there is one hook thing related with the essay writing. If you catch that hook, rest of the essays are very easy. But that catching of that theme or hook happens only with consistent effort, not by listening. You can listen to hundreds of lectures. Till the time you sit down on the table, write 1,000 words on your own, you will never understand. Right? Anyhow, moving forward. So these are certain themes which have been overlapping over the years. Right? Now, then about one of the quote this year was, muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. It's about patience. It is about calmness. Right? So there was once essay in 2020, your tranquil mind is the manifesto or something. So there was one essay. So it was also about patience, calmness, not letting your anger overpower you, right? Or being emotionally intelligent basically. This question is talking this only. And if you are in anger, if your thoughts are too much muddled in your head, don't respond. Or there is a conflict situation, don't respond. Sit down, let it settle, and then take a decision with reasoning, not with emotions and anger. When there is a water in which there is a lot of mud, if you leave it for some time, the mud settles down. Similarly, when you are angry, when you are in a conflict situation, when there are so many conflicting values in your life, let it settle for some time. Introspect basically, right? Then take a decision, right? There is a quote also that never talk to anybody when you are angry, right? And also never make promises when you are happy. Both the times your emotions are very high. You are run by emotions and you take a wrong decision. You have to take a decision on reason, not on emotions. So this essay is also around that. Patience, calmness, emotionally intelligent. If you attempt this essay, even if similar quotes come next year, you can write that essay. Then about life. UPSC loves to ask you question about life. So there is an essay this year. It is best to see life as journey, not as destination. And last year they had a similar essay on it. There is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. Right? Here also you have to discuss that when we are talking about happiness, it's not a destination that if I move from here to there and when I'll reach there, I will be happy. If I'll clear exam, I will be happy. If I'll get this job, I will be happy. It's not a goal to be achieved. It is a kind of a journey. No matter what is the situation, no matter in which stage of life you are, you have to be happy. Happiness in the small things of the life. This essay also is saying that life is a journey. It's not a destination. That from this point you have to move on to this point. That okay, I will get good marks in my academics. I'll top in my college, then I'll get a good job, then I'll get married. The list goes on increasing. Goals keep on increasing. There is no destination here and people get frustrated. So take life as a journey where you enjoy it. When you're going on a journey in a car, enjoy the journey. See outside. See different people. See the mountains, see the rivers. Right? Try to appreciate that. Don't be fixated on that at what time we will be reaching. Because sometimes you reach a destination and then you see that, okay, Instagram told something else and this place doesn't even look like that. Because you were fixated on the destination and you ignored the journey. Journey was the best part of your, when you were commuting from that point. So this topic about life, Next also, contentment is natural wealth, and this is one very wonderful quote I would say which they have asked. Contentment is natural wealth, luxury is artificial poverty. Now similar to it, last year they had asked, not last year, I think in 2022, philosophy of wantlessness is utopia, while materialism is chimera. I'll explain both the terms. Now, why these type of questions they are asking? Because we are living in a society which is becoming more and more materialistic in nature. Everyone is focused on buying new things. New car, new house, new clothes, new shows, every day. List never ends. We are living in a life where your material success is most important, even if it is at the expense of degradation of morals, values. Right? Keeping this thing in mind, UPSC had asked two questions. This year they have said, contentment is natural wealth. It's the wealth you can have. It's a natural wealth. When you're satisfied, you don't need anything. It's like a wealth for you. You're happy. You're joyous. So even if you have a simple food at your home, you're happy about it. But luxury is like an artificial poverty. It is never enough. It's not that you're poor, but it's artificial poverty. You're never satisfied. You bought a 32-inch TV, next you want 42-inch. You buy 42-inch, then you want 60-inch, 75-inch, 92-inch. It never ends. You always feel you are poor. It's artificial poverty. Right? So this material needs, this need for luxury, it is artificial poverty. Contentment is natural wealth. Now, similar essay had been asked in 2022. Philosophy of wantlessness. It's about materialism basically. Philosophy of wantlessness is utopia. They're saying that as a human being, if you have a philosophy that I don't want anything, that's a utopia. That cannot happen. As a human, you need certain basic needs to function. Right? So, at one extreme is wantlessness. I don't want anything. That's a utopia. Utopia means that it's not achievable. It's a kind of a condition which can never be achieved. It's just in the dreams. And on the other hand is materialism, which means I want everything. And that is a chimera. Chimera is a mythological creature, right? Like unicorns. Unicorn never existed in history, but people think they might. So there are toys for children, right? There are cartoons with respect to unicorns. So chimera is a mythological thing which is not present. So here in this essay, you had to convey that we have to be somewhere in the middle, right? Not being too materialistic and not also being too saint-like that I don't want anything. Both of them are not sustainable in nature. So in today's life, you have to balance things, right? Be content, but at the same time, you cannot say that I don't want anything. That cannot happen. You cannot, in today's life, practically you cannot function without a phone, right? You need phone. So if you say, I don't want anything, that cannot happen. How will people contact you? How will you study? How will you get updates from your institute? How will you know the time? You need a phone. So both of the essays were kind of around contentment and materialism. Not exactly same, but hovering around the same common theme. So first thing which you should do in your essay preparation is identify the themes. Identify the core theme. Go through the previous year questions. And try to see what are the recurrent topics which are coming in UPSC. Prepare notes according to that now. Right? Okay, now moving forward, anyone from the online section, any doubt is there, please ask. Now moving on to the first essay, side by side I will tell you how do you write essay. Because there might be a lot of students who have not attended the previous lectures of mine. Now, first topic in section A is truth knows no color. So your first job before you even write your essay is to identify the core meaning of the quote. Core meaning is that truth, it doesn't know any color, which means that truth is beyond your color, your gender, right? It is like water. It is pure, it is colorless. Right? Truth is universal in nature. Truth is absolute in nature. People can say anything, but truth remains truth. You cannot color it. Right? You can distort it probably, we'll do that later on. But truth is something which is universal and absolute in nature. It is not relative in nature. That today I say, for example, gravity. Gravity is a scientific truth. So you are in India, you are in US, you are in UK. Gravity is one truth about Earth which remains absolute, universal for all. So even if it's an African person, even if it's an Indian person or it's a Bangladeshi person, everybody experiences the same scientific truth. Truth never discriminates. Right? So truth knows no color. So first job has to be to identify the basic meaning of the quote. What does this quote stand for? Right? So once that you have brainstormed and you know the basic meaning here is that truth is universal, truth is absolute. For everyone, truth is same. Right? Now, when you have to start essay, you start essay with an anecdote. What is an anecdote, you would ask? Anecdote is an interesting account of something, where you write some short story which is related to the essay topic. Right? Now this story can be a real story or this can be a fiction story. You create two characters and with respect to the topic which you are discussing, you weave a story around it. Now, why are you starting with an anecdote? Why? Because you want to give an engaging start to your essay that binds the attention of examiner. Essay should never be started with a definition that you start defining truth is defined as this and that. This is not a GS answer. This is essay. In newspapers, every day you read editorials. Editorials never start with your definitions. They slowly build up the main point. In starting, they might write something with respect to its context or short story, right? But never the main point at the first start of the editorial. So when you are writing essay, think yourself as a person who is writing an editorial in Hindu newspaper or Indian Express. People should find your editorial interesting if you are writing in the newspaper. So similarly, when you are writing essay, it should bind the attention of the examiner. Secondly, essay has to be built up slowly, right? If today I watch a movie, right, and I can tell the story of the movie in 2 lines also, right? So, few days back I watched a horror movie, right? English horror movie Weapons, right? So now that movie I can tell you the whole story in 2 lines, that what exactly it was about, right? I can give you a spoiler in 1 word also, I can tell you that this is the end. But you know about horror movies, how they build up very slowly. They never tell you the plot. They will never tell you who is actually the ghost or where things will happen. They will slowly build up that horror story. There will be music, right? There will be different noises through which the horror element comes in. And only at the end, the main climax comes in, where you get to know that, okay, this was the thing about this entire movie. And if I narrate you that movie, you will find out like what is so special about it. The movie was good because the narration style was very nice. Right? They started with a very good narration at the start. It was a story about a school. So the narration at the start was by a small kid. He explains first that how the classroom used to look like. And then an incident happens which they explain it 20 minutes into the movie. That here is when, and exactly this line was used, here is when the real story starts. So first, they were building up certain context about it. Right? If you see any movie also, first they build some context. Right? They introduce characters. And 20-30 minutes after the movie, you realize, acha, main thing is this. Right? So similarly, your essay should be like this. It should not break into, you should not start your essay with a judgment of, yes, truth doesn't know any color. That is not how you write an essay. You weave a story. Think yourself as a narrator. Slowly build it up. Write in nice English. Include good examples. Slowly build. Slowly introduce different dimensions. And then after those dimensions are discussed, then you end your essay. So this is one first important point of essay is slowly build up your essay. Second, start with something engaging in nature. Write some story, real or fictitious. Or even if you don't know a story, give certain context about it. Don't jump to the point in the first line only. That is not how you write essay. When I say skill of writing essay, first few skills are this. You have to be patient. You have to write 1,000 words. Right? 1,000, 1,200 words are a lot. Right? For around 1.5 hours, you have to keep on writing on the same topic. If you will come to the point, in the first 2 pages only, the next 6-7 pages, what will you write? Essay stands for elaboration. E in essay means elaboration. You have to elaborate it. I can explain this quote in 1 line also. What does truth knows no color means? But I have to expand it. I have to elaborate it. I have to discuss different dimensions related to this quote. And then it will become an essay. Otherwise, it is the meaning of truth knows no color, which can be done in half page also, 2 lines also. So this thing you have to remember. So start of the essay is with an anecdote or giving a general context about it. Right? So taking an example, for this particular essay, Telegram channel you can ace UPSC with Shilpa. There this page is available. It will be better if you open those pages. On Telegram, you can open. These pages are available there, right? So now if you see here, we will start the essay with some interesting account or giving a context, right? So picture a scale of justice in a silent courtroom, right? So the lady of justice. Now she is blindfolded and she is carrying scales. Its eyes are blindfolded, not in ignorance but in wisdom, for truth does not need sight to recognize what is real. Right? This is one aspect of the truth. The blindfold ensures that the scales do not tilt with color of man's skin, power of his position, or weight of his wealth. What it weighs is only evidence, only reality, and only truth. And this is the nature of truth itself, impartial, unyielding, uncorrupted by the divisions human beings create. Truth is not something that, if I tell something that is true and you tell the same thing, people will say that's false. No. Truth has an independent existence. No matter from which background, from which color, from which gender you come, truth remains truth. It has its independent existence. Truth does not wear a color, nor does it go to the hues of prejudice or identity. Right? It stands beyond caste, creed, race, religion, shining with the same light, whether spoken by a king in the palace or a peasant in the fields. Now for this essay, you can write some short story also. Alright? You can create two actors. Right? That this is one truth. A rich person told and one poor person. It remains same. It doesn't change. Right? If you you can talk about the concept of gravity also here. Gravity is a scientific truth. It's absolute. It is universal in nature. No matter wherever you go, it remains same. It is not colored by climate of any country. It is not colored by the development level of any country. It is same. It has the same measure. Right? So truth is impartial in nature. Truth is absolute. Truth is uncolored. Right? It is consistent in nature. It doesn't change when you move from one society to another. Truth remains. If you're talking about, say, concept of slavery. Slavery is not good for the human civilization. That is one truth. Even if you are in India, even if you are in US, even if it is modern times or it is ancient times, slavery is bad is one consistent truth. It never changes. So when slavery was done in ancient times, it is bad. You can give lot of positive points for it, that economy was such, blah blah blah, but it still remains wrong. That is the truth here. It doesn't change us. So this concept you have to discuss in your essay and start by expanding some story, giving a engaging start, using some engaging, powerful words in your essay. It should be a slow burn when you start discussing about the essay. Right? Now, once the anecdote is done, now you have to shift to the introduction part. Introduction part means where you will explain what is the, now definition can be written. What is truth? Keyword in the topic is truth. So you will explain what is truth. Like in the essay, contentment is natural wealth and your luxury is artificial poverty. So here in the introduction, you will share what exactly is contentment. What do you mean by luxury? So in introduction, now you can define it. Now there is a space between these two levels, where your story or anecdote ends and your introduction has to start. Now everyone will say, now this is the fourth skill of essay writing. Essay has to be connected in nature. There has to be a proper flow and coherence in your essay. All the paragraphs should have a connection with each other. It should not be in isolation. So it's not that abruptly your story ends and then you start writing the introduction part. there has to be a connecting paragraph or at least a connecting line in between. So what you can do is, after anecdote, pose certain questions, certain thought-provoking questions, which you will probably address in the essay. Set the tone of the essay. That examiner should know that this is what I should be expecting in the next few paragraphs. So you can write down, after this is done, you can write down this, but what is truth? Question mark. It is an absolute reality that exists independent of human perception. What I think, you think doesn't depend. Truth is truth. Right? Or it is shaped by eyes behind it. Pose certain questions. If truth is universal, then why it has been often painted with colors of caste, color, creed, gender, etc. Question mark. Like this, 2-3 questions you have to ask, and then you write down, let's explore. Now this creates a connection. This word here, but what is truth? And the remaining questions, they signal to the examiner that essay will go in this direction and creates a connection between end of your anecdote and introduction part. Right? Now next is, in introduction you will simply tell what is a truth. At its core, truth means reality as it is, what is real, unfiltered by opinion. It's not my opinion that gravity has this much measurement, right? It is independent of my opinion. There are certain people who feel Earth is flat. Their opinion doesn't matter. It is not flat in nature. So you might think it is flat, you might form an association of people who believe that Earth is flat, but truth remains same. It has been proven. People have gone to space, even from the time of Galileo also, that it is not flat in nature. It is a spherical body. It moves around the sun. So, truth is real. It doesn't matter on what you think or what I think. It doesn't matter whether I am rich or I am poor. Truth is truth. It's absolute. It is universal in nature. So it is unfiltered by opinion, untouched by prejudice, and unbent by power. Truth doesn't have any kind of prejudice. That because this particular person belongs to certain caste, this doesn't hold true for him. If we say human rights should be given to every person, and then we say no, not for the people of low caste. Truth is not like this. It is unfiltered by your prejudice. It is not affected by prejudice. And even if someone powerful says something, it is not unbent by it. Take example of Galileo again. During the times of Galileo, church was of the view that Earth is at the center and every other planets and the suns are moving around it. And church was a powerful institution. But Galileo gave a different perspective. He used his telescope. He said, no, it's not geocentric world. Earth is not at the center. It's a heliocentric world. Sun is at the center. He was jailed for it. Trials were held for him. He was put on house arrest for this. But still, truth trims. Truth at some point of time will win. It will come out. Even if power tries to subdue it, power tries to, make it not open to the public, but still it will be there. It will be present. Right? So these things you have to write down in the first paragraph when you talk about the concept of truth. What exactly is truth? In the introduction part, and when you were talking about the anecdote, You explain same thing, truth, but through certain story. Right? So these things you have to keep in mind when you are starting your essays. Start with an anecdote, then you write a connecting paragraph, and then you explain what is truth. Now the problem starts is, and here in the introduction you can explain different types of truth also. Universal truth, which is same for everything, right? Or moral truths, scientific truths, spiritual truths, right? Versus there are certain distorted truths we'll discuss as we move forward. So you can even classify different types of truth, right? Say for example, God is one. That's a spiritual truth, right? If you're talking about a scientific truth, you can call it as a, give example of gravity, right? If you're talking about universal truth, you can talk about that every human being has natural rights. That's a universal truth all over the world. You can explain in this manner. Now the main problem arises in quote-based essays. I have explained what is truth. I have given anecdote. Now what should I write next? Right? I have understood the quote, I have given the meaning. Now what next? What should I write? It's not a essay that, okay, you have to write about women empowerment. The essay is women empowerment is essential for growth as a nation. So you know, first you can write what are the issues which women are facing. You can discuss what is women empowerment, why we are not able to achieve it, and how do we achieve it. This is straightforward. If the essay is cooperative federalism, boon or bane, you know what to write. You have to read positive aspects of cooperative federalism, negative aspects of federalism, and then you end your essay. But here, it's not that simple. Truth knows no color. I wrote a story, I wrote the meaning of the quote. Now, how do I proceed further? What should I be writing next? Becomes a big problem in the philosophical essay here when the problem starts. How do I expand it beyond the meaning? So now here you should remember that think yourself as a philosopher, right? Or think yourself as probably, you would have read ancient India, think yourself as Gautam Buddha. So when Gautam Buddha attained enlightenment, what used to happen is different people, different disciples used to come to him, right? Or you take example of any teacher, any guru, right? When you're sitting in front of him, right, you ask him questions, right? Say for example, if I'm sitting in front of Gautam Buddha, I might ask, what is the purpose of life? Right? He will give me some answer. That purpose of life is your spiritual happiness or whatever. Right? Then I might ask the next question. Why there is so much suffering in the world? Right? He will give me an answer. Again, I will put a counter question. Right? Then he will give me an answer. Then again, he will give a counter question. So treat yourself when writing essay as a person who is sitting in front of a guru, a teacher, enlightened person, where you have a lot of questions related to that. Or think yourself as a small kid. Talk to a small kid. He'll have thousands of questions. He will ask you, what is above? You'll say it's sky. Then he'll ask why the sky is blue. You will give a reason. right? But then why sky turns grey when it rains? You'll give an answer, you'll ask another question. Because they're curious. They want to know the depth of that particular thing. They come up with counter questions. Similar perspective you have to have when you are thinking about philosophical quotes. What are the questions which can, or dimensions which can emerge from this particular essay? Right? How can I bring up different dimensions here? Right? So here, in this particular essay, if you are talking about truth knows no color, we have already seen truth knows no color. You have already seen what is truth. Now, next question is, we are saying truth is universal. Truth is absolute. But the question which you should ask is, why? Why it is being called universal, or why it is absolute? What are the features of truth which makes it universal or absolute in nature? This is one question you can address in your essay. Next. So you will first address this part. Why is truth universal? Next. You will come up with a counter question. Is there a thing called universal truth? Right? Is it really present? Right? Can we label something as truth or not? Because truth is a product of your socialization. What you have been taught. From your culture you learn. Right? Say for example, from our religion, since socialization we learn that this is the absolute truth. For Muslims, Quran is the absolute truth. For a Christian, Bible is the absolute truth. For an Hindu, Vedas are the absolute truth. For a Sikh, Guru Granth Sahib is the absolute truth. Which is the truth then? Or is it shaped by our socialization? What you are taught that this is the truth? Right? So this is one aspect. Think yourself as a philosopher, where you are deeply thinking about something, not just the face of it, that truth knows no color, but different aspects about it. That okay, first I want to know, why is truth universal? Why doesn't it know no color? Then next I will ask you, is there anything really called as absolute truth? Or it is just a perception? Or we have created this as truth? Right? Probably some alien comes from different planet and he will say this is not truth. So how do we define something is truth or not? Right? So that aspect also you can discuss it. Next you can discuss is how in modern times truth is getting colored through media, through deepfakes, where you cannot distinguish between what is truth and what is not. So in present times, truth knows color because of media, because of technology. Paid media will tell you something different and you will accept it. Social media will have a deep fake which will not be truth, but you will accept it because you saw it with your own eyes. You cannot differentiate between it. So these are certain aspects you can discuss in this very quote. It is difficult, I agree. This topic is little difficult, this one. But there is no other way in which you can discuss philosophical essay. You have to consider yourself as a small child who keeps on asking counter questions, who keeps on asking questions like, okay, what is truth? You tell me that truth is something which knows no color. Why doesn't it knows no color? Why it is universal? Right? Then you ask, is there really a thing known as truth, or it is just a perception? You feel this is truth. We'll do examples for it, don't worry. It will become more clearer. Right? Then you ask, then in modern times, how truth is slowly becoming colored. You cannot distinguish between what is true, what is being shown to you. We are living in post-truth era, where facts don't matter, where perception matters. Right? So that concept also you can include it here. Now with these three dimensions, you will have lot of things to write down. You will have lot of things to expand it. Right? So even if you're talking about, just to make things easier, next essay is the supreme art of war. I'll come back to it. The supreme art of war is subduing the enemy without war. You write an anecdote, you introduce the concept of war and diplomacy. Next, what you can explore in the essay, how to subdue enemy without fighting. How do we do that? When you are saying supreme art of war is without fighting war, you win it. But how do you subdue your enemy without raising any sword, any weapon? How do you do that? So you write different points. By psychological dominance, by your diplomacy, by economic pressure, by diplomatic pressure. Right? We'll come back to it. Then second, you have to answer why it is the supreme act of war. Why you're just taking one aspect, why diplomacy, or why manipulation, or why soft power is greater than war. This one, another question you will explore. War brings death. War brings loss of resources. War never gives any solution. Former foreign minister, right, late Sushma Swaraj, she once said that even when there is a war, after war also you have to sit down and do the peace agreement. Why not start with the peace agreement only? So war is never a solution. So next question will be, you answer why it is a supreme art of war. All these points, why are they supreme? What is so much better than the war that we are calling it supreme? Then you will explore a different dimension. Agreed, diplomacy is important. You don't need to fight a war. But are there certain limitations of just diplomacy? Yes, there are. Right? Like take recent Indo-Pakistan war. For the longest time, we have been peaceful. We have been trying to subdue them through diplomatic pressure, through soft power, through cricket, etc., etc. But sometimes wars become a solution. That is a limitation of diplomacy. That once the water is above saturation level, it's above your head, war becomes necessary. Even in Mahabharata, war was fought as a last resort. They tried so much diplomacy. Lord Krishna went as an ambassador. It's a supreme art. But one aspect is that there are certain limitations. Sometimes war becomes inevitable. So in the court, not just what is asked in the court, but also the opposite part you have to discuss. Like we discussed in truth essay. That when you are saying truth has no color, so is it even a true statement or not? Because how do you define truth? Truth comes from what your family teaches you, what your religion teaches you, what your culture teaches you. Right? For a person following Hindu religion, cow is divine. You don't kill it. That's a truth. That's a religious truth. But for some person living in US, that's just a source of food. So does it mean truth changes from society to society? This is another aspect of it. Right? So see, when you are writing essay, there is no black and white that you just talk about the quote. You try to explore the other areas also. You try to flip the quote also. And if you are saying truth is absolute, is it really true? Right? So you flip it. In this essay, you are saying supreme art of war is without fighting. But what are the limitations? Sometimes war has to be there. You cannot become defenseless that I will practice non-violence or diplomacy only, I will not fight. They will cut your heads. Sometimes it's a question of survival also. So now that's a different aspect of the quote, opposite to the quote. So that is how you explore a philosophical essay. You ask questions. For asking questions, you can follow this model. 5W1H. Questions on the line of who, what, why, where, when, how. So when you are brainstorming about the quote and you want to ask few questions related to that, think along these lines. That any question starting from these terms can be started or not. Can I pose a question with respect to this essay topic with help of this model? Right? Like this was used in your first essay. Why is truth universal or absolute? And this is not an exhaustive list that all questions will start with who, what, where. This is just a tool for you to think about questions. So our main point here is when you have a quote in front of you, it doesn't mean that you just do a superficial analysis. Superficial analysis is just the meaning of quote. Truth knows no color, you explain it. Why truth knows no color? Why it is universal. That's it. But essay, which is based on quote, you have to explore different dimensions. You have to pose questions. You have to act like a curious child. Ask the what, why, whose, where, when, how questions. Right? Questions can be 2 only sometimes there will be 3, sometimes will be 4. Depends upon essay to essay. Right? But minimum 2 dimensions you should explore. And while you are exploring, then you have to integrate examples in between. Now for thinking examples, then you can use the special approach. That with respect to political life, any example can be written, economic life, legal, environmental, then you can use the special approach to think about examples. Right? And content from your essay comes from your GS itself. If you're good with GS, you can have a lot of examples in your essay, even if it's a philosophical. and try to cover your ethics and essay together, because there are a lot of overlapping themes here, right? So try to cover and both of them are high yielding in nature. You can score very good marks in your essay and in ethics also. Both of the subjects pay a lot, right? Okay, and now moving forward. So now this first essay we'll just complete it. First question is that why truth is universal. Why it is absolute in nature, right? Truth is universal because it is impartial in nature. It is impartial. It has identity of its own. It is consistent in nature. You tell a truth now, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, in India, in US, in Britain. It is consistent, right? When somebody is lying, how does police catch them? Because every time they'll give a different account. They will say something different because they don't remember, because that's a lie. Truth is always consistent. If you are in a police interrogation room and you have not committed a crime, you have not murdered someone, every single time you will say the same thing. Every single time, because it's a truth. So it will always be consistent. Lies are never consistent. Right? Because you yourself get caught up in your lies. You don't know what did you say last time and you get caught. So truth is absolute. Or truth is universal. Or when we are talking about truth knows no color means truth is universal. Why? Because it is consistent. It never changes its stance. It is impartial in nature. Right? Then there are examples also given in the essay if you'll open. Then truth is timeless. Truth remains the same through centuries. Right? It doesn't changes. It has the same form even in ancient times, medieval times or the modern times. When we say slavery is bad for the human civilization, so we cannot give a justification for that no, times were different. No. Something which is bad or something which is true as a statement remains true throughout ages, throughout years. So truth is absolute because it is impartial, it is consistent, it is timeless. I am writing in points, but in your essay, you have to remember essay always has to be written in paragraphs, never in points. This is just for your information so you have a clarity. Always in paragraphs. And when you are explaining the different aspects here, right? You are telling it is consistent or you are telling it is timeless. You give examples. Like in timeless, you can write down that Pythagoras theorem is relevant even today. It was made centuries ago. Right? That formula for Pythagoras theorem. It's a scientific truth. It is true even after centuries. It is consistent. It is timeless in nature. Right? Or when we are talking about racism or apartheid which was there, that is bad. That's an absolute truth. Today also, tomorrow also, in coming times also. So with this, you explain, with these three factors, you explain why truth is absolute in nature. right? The entire thing is given on the channel. You can read it because we have paucity of time. We have to see other essays also, right? Now the next question arises is, when we speak of truth, there are two challenges which we face. One challenge is there even a thing as universal truth? Or all the truths are socially constructed or are relative in nature? That I was telling you. That one dimension we have to discuss. Second is, even if truth exists, how do we protect it from distortion by power? Distortion by media or prejudice. So these are another two aspects which you will discuss in this essay, which will enrich your content, otherwise you will not have any content. So the first question is there even a thing called universal truth? You will tell that truth is a product of socialization, right? From our childhood, through our families, we grasp that this is true, this is false, right? Take for example, religious truths like I told you. If you're born in a Hindu family, if you're born in a Muslim family, you're told about certain religious truths which you consider as true in nature. So the question arises is truth a product of socialization? Next, truth varies from, when we're talking about truth, there is a concept of multiple perspectives. There is one story that once there were 6 blind people were there and they were taken outside, right? They're blind, they cannot see. They are asked to touch an elephant and tell what do elephants stand for them, how does it look. So somebody holds the trunk, somebody holds the tail, some the legs of elephant, somebody holds the part of the torso. Everybody gives a different definition of what is a elephant. But the point is, all of them are talking about the same elephant, but the point of view is different. Even Jainism talks about it. Truth means multiple perspectives. How do you interpret it? So truth is not one single thing. It is a different perspective to look at different things. Right? Say for example, monotheistic religions say that God is one. There is one single God. And you cannot do idol worship. Right? You cannot create image of God. Now, polytheistic religion or Hinduism says that yes, God is one, but we have given different paths to you. Right? It is your way. How do you want to approach God? Which God do you want to pray? That's a freedom that is given to you. And when we're talking about idols, it is not God. It's just a manifestation of God. So, same truth but different paths to achieve it. So, we cannot say there is one single truth also. There are different multiple perspectives to look at the same thing. It can be a product of socialization also. So, depending upon your socialization, your perspective, your concept of truth might change. Right? Then, culture to culture also it might change. Like I gave example of cow being divine or beef eating, which is common in other cultures. They may not agree with your truth. They may not agree that cow is something which needs to be respected, which needs to be worshipped. They don't agree with that. It depends upon culture to culture also. Then, even when we are talking about, this is now an important point, when we are talking about scientific truth, we say that science remains same, scientific truths never change. But this is also probably not true or partial in nature. Why? Because at some point of time, Newton's law were used to understand matter, right? Then Einstein came with his theory of relativity. Then now quantum theory is there. So it means even science changes, right? We were following Newton's concept to understand the world and we felt this is the truth, that it doesn't change us. After a few hundreds of years, Einstein comes up with another theory which sees states of matter in a different manner. Then quantum theory comes in. So it means even science is not able to give absolute truth. It just gives provisional certainties. For certain amount of time, this is the truth, which might change. For some time, they'll put Pluto in the solar system and sometimes they'll put outside the solar system. So even scientific truths change. So it means is, truth is something which is very vast in nature. New knowledge might emerge over time and the truth might change also. This aspect also you have to discuss in this essay, right? Then last is, you have to discuss that how truth gets colored. It gets colored, I told you, with power. If you are powerful, you can, spread any amount of lies and label them as truth because you are in power. Or through media. You spread it through fake news, deep fakes. And people will agree to it that this is truth. Right? Our parents, they will see some AI video and they will consider it as truth. So truth is getting colored through technology, through media. Right? Then through fear also, use of fear. They will force you to consider this is the truth. Right? So through this, you discuss the entire quote, and this was a difficult quote. And that is why options are given to you. Whichever you feel is easiest for you to cover, you can write that particular essay. Right? Now, second essay, the supreme art of war is subduing the enemy. So now here I told you after anecdote, after the introduction part, you will write down how to subdue the enemy without fighting. You do it through psychological dominance, psychological warfare. Right? Then through diplomacy, through talks. Right now what is happening? India is not fighting a war with the US after tariffs were imposed. What it is doing? It is getting cozy with Russia and China. Both of them are the biggest enemies of US. So the pictures which are getting circulated today from the morning from Shanghai Corporation, right, that will be little concerning for US. We are not fighting war. We didn't impose tariffs on US. But through diplomacy, we are showing them that we are not alone. You can impose tariffs, we will move to this, grouping. And China, they consider US because China is the fastest growing. It's like factory of the world. It poses lot of threat to the US status as a global power. Russia, anyhow, they hate Russia. Right? America, being a capitalist country, has always had an ideology of hating socialist or communist countries. US was in Cold War with USSR and now Russia since the longest time. So we are not fighting a war. We are trying to create a psychological dominance. We are trying to set a narrative that you disrespect us, it's okay. We'll join some other group. So we didn't send our army, we didn't kill someone, but sooner or later we might win a war. There might be softening of stance by US president. So this is the supreme art of war. Anybody can kill someone and get their work done. But that is not the way forward. Right? When we talk about the greatest diplomat which India has seen, Chanakya, he gave his concept of that when if you want to win over someone, he gave different concepts, Sam, Dam, Dand, Ved. You go in this manner. You appease him. One of his way was you find out secrets about your enemy and blackmail him. So there are different ways. You don't have to pick up swords. You don't have to pick up a gun. You don't have to send an army. The supreme act of war is without fighting you win something. Diplomacy in the world geopolitics is fought on this only. Right? So now, any war if you see, there will be no result after war. If Israel is fighting with Palestine or Ukraine is fighting with Russia, there is no end to the war. But end can come up when you try to create a psychological dominance through diplomacy, through soft power. Soft power is also one of where you use your culture. You spread your culture. You create a cultural supremacy like we're creating with yoga. India becomes a supreme power with respect to once it comes to spirituality. If it comes to good lifestyle. So we create a cultural hegemony. Right? Slowly over the time, our culture will become dominant. People will be agreeing with us. Right? Say for example, Korean series, they're very popular right now. Everybody is watching a Korean series. So they're trying to spread their culture. Right? Next time, if any agreement with Korean country will be there, hypothetically I'm saying, there will be a soft corner for them because you've seen their culture, you've seen their stories. So through soft power also you can win wars. Right? Through, and not just your psychological dominance, diplomacy, soft power, also through deterrence also. We are having nuclear weapons and we have no first use policy. But why do we have them? We have them as a source of deterrence. That you can't touch us. You can't start a war with us because it will assure mutually assured destruction. You don't have to fight a war. Even with a deterrent, people will not come near you. How is a dictatorship like North Korea surviving? Because it has nuclear weapons. Nobody wants to fight with that idiot. Anytime we can press the button and can destroy the world. So it acts as a deterrent. North Korea's leader doesn't even need to fight a war with US. Everybody knows that he is not of sane mind. He can do anything. So let it be a dictatorship. None of our concern. So this is the supreme art of war. Where you don't shed blood, where you don't fight wars, where there is no army, but you bring the enemy to your knees through ideas, through psychological dominance, through soft power, through deterrence, even through economic power also. Today, China is becoming so powerful. Why? Because its manufacturing sector is so strong. All the global supply chains depend upon China. Right? So things keep on happening according to China because it's powerful. Right? Or you can take example of China with respect to economic. China uses this debt trap diplomacy or checkbook diplomacy. It will give huge amount of loan and then you get trapped in it. Then you have to agree to it. So they didn't fight a war with Sri Lanka. They just gave check to development of Hambantota port and they're not able to pay back. Now they're practically owning and operating that port. Right? And you might have heard if IR has done string of pearls theory is there to surround India through all these ports. It's not even fighting war, but it is bringing its enemy to its knees. That is the supreme art of war. Anybody can fight. Right? It will take 2 minutes to kill someone. But that is not how you do things. You convince, you persuade, you manipulate, you dominate the other person. You use your economic power, you use the deterrence. That is supreme art of power, which you have to discuss in this essay. Now, this is one aspect of the essay. Right? Next, you will explore why it is supreme act of war. Why it is considered so much better than fighting a war. Why? Because there is preservation of resources and life. It is more efficient. It is more effective in nature. There is moral and political legitimacy is there. Today, Israel has lost all its legitimacy because there are pictures of children getting killed, houses getting destroyed. So the world is divided. That even if Israel thinks that its cause was just, this is not the way forward. You cannot kill civilians. Right? It's no longer an act of self-defense. You're literally killing people. Right? So, and one important point is that why it is supreme, because it is sustainable in nature. How many times India can fight a war with Pakistan? It will drain our resources. But if we try to subdue it without fighting, through psychological dominance, it will be sustainable in nature. Right? Just 3-4 days war, it has costed us a lot. Imagine war going on for 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. And it's not even sustainable. So, through your diplomacy, through soft power, it is more sustainable. Victory is more sustainable. Right? Say if we take example of China, what they had done with Sri Lanka. Now what they have tried to achieve is, now, if they say, for example, they would have overpowered Sri Lanka through army, for example. First of all, they cannot do it, but if they do it hypothetically, over the time, there will be revolts. People will try to gather together and remove China. Now what they have done is, simple way, they have trapped them into the debt, keep on paying debt. And they will keep on influencing the policies in that country. They will keep on using the Pope. It is sustainable in nature. So that is why it is supreme. But last, like I was telling you, there are certain limitations to it. Because it is not always possible that we don't fight. If the enemy is standing on our door, we'll have to fight. Sometimes war is the last resort. You have tried everything, nothing is working, you'll have to fight for it. You should not confuse it with being a coward. Right? Because if you're trying for peaceful way, you're trying the psychological warfare, it is not yielding any result. The other person might think you as coward, that this person will never act. He just keeps on saying, but he will never act. So these are certain limitations of subduing an enemy without a war. Sometimes war is essential. Psychological warfare doesn't work always. If it would have worked, the countries won't have armies. Even if war is not happening, every country has an army, except few. Right? So these are the limitations of the supreme art of war. Right? Then last will be your conclusion. Conclusion is basically summarizing or giving a futuristic vision, what needs to be done or something like that. Right? Yes, are we clear here? How to approach your philosophical essays? Yes? Okay, we'll just see a few more just to give you an idea about the essay topics. Class started a little late, so just 1 second. Next we will do best lessons are learned through. So now basic aim of this class was to give you a framework for how to write answers. The complete solutions for all the essays I will share on my group in the coming week for all the 8 essays. Right, so look out for it. But major purpose of you should be to be able to write these essays. Even if you read key, it will not be enough. So what you can do is pick up PYQs. First start with just brainstorming. That what anecdote can I write here? What will be the introduction? What can I write in the body of the essay? Which questions, 2-3 questions I can pose. That's it. Just do brainstorming for 4-5 essays and then write a full length essay. Right? Okay, we'll just quickly see one more essay. Best lessons are learned through bitter experiences. Right? So now you can write a anecdote, a small fictional story you can write down. Right? Think of a child. Right? And say in a room there is a candle, right, which is lighted up. Parents are constantly pulling the child away from the candle, that don't touch it, you will burn your hand, you will burn your hand. Constantly they are telling the child. But child doesn't listen. Right? Now the mother says, okay, do whatever you want. Now the child goes near the candle, touches it, and the finger burns. Now next time he will never touch the candle. Sometimes you learn things through bitter experiences. Right? Sometimes you learn things only through failures. Right? Through your past mistakes. Something which leaves you in a bitter taste. You learn through it. A person, you can write a story of a person who trusts everybody. Right? But at some point of life, somebody cheats him of the money. Now through that bitter experience, he realizes he has to be careful in the dealing with people. So a lot of things you learn, not from your schools, not from your parents, not from your colleges. You learn from experience. And the quote is specifically talking about bitter experience. Bitter experience, you can write from mistakes, from failures, right? Or something which is not palatable, right? Or through pain also. You learn a lot of, you have go through various painful experiences in your life. And then you learn new things about it. Why? Because after this you do a introspection. Why were you wrong? Why did you do this thing? What can be the better way to do this thing? Next time how you will prepare yourself. So you develop various mechanisms that next time if I am in the same situation, I have to probably think in this particular manner. Right? You can write an anecdote about a person in a relationship also. Only if you go through pain, through a breakup, you learn about people. And people can cheat on you probably. Or people can, not reciprocate your feelings. What you learn things about life. So even if it's a bitter experience, it teaches you something. Right? So best lessons are through that. Because with success, with good experience comes complacency. You take it for granted. And next time also this will happen like this. with bitter experience, you get cautious in your life. That bad can also happen. You expect for good, but you're prepared for the worst in your life. All thanks to the bitter experiences you have, the failures you have, the mistakes you have done. So this you have to explain in your essay. Right? Now here are the questions which you will discuss. First question you will discuss is why bitter experiences they teach the best. Right? So this you have to write down. Why? Because they create a deep impact on you. When you hurt yourself, not physically, mentally, emotionally, it creates a deep impact on your mind, a deep imprint, which you never forget. That is why they are best. Then it strips away your illusion about something, right? It acts like a mirror which forces us to confront our weaknesses, our drawbacks. So it shatters that illusion that you are the best, or I know everything, or I'm good with people, or people will never do bad to me. It takes away that illusion. You become more cautious in nature, right? You know, if you have encountered with certain people who have a very privileged background, born with a silver spoon, right? Driver taking them to school, getting them back to the school. They're very protected in nature. And they feel everybody is like that only. Their perception of life is very different. They feel everybody is rich, everybody has same lifestyle, nobody cheats on you, nobody takes advantage of you. They have a very different perspective. Right? A person who had experience in life is very cautious. He knows there are very different varieties of people. Right? So there is a saying, I don't remember the exact saying, there's a proverb in Hindi that somebody is burnt by a mill. Even he will taste the drink which is made up from curd. Right? That also you will, blow it to make it cold and then you will drink. Right? So, if you are burnt by hot milk, every situation you will think and then act. So, it's a best teacher. Pain is a best teacher to you. It shakes you. It strips away your illusions. It has a deeper impact on you. So, like this, you have to give different factors. It also creates resilience in you. You become strong because that is the only choice you have. You failed prelim. It makes you resilient. You cannot do anything. You have failed it and now the exam will come next year. It makes you resilient in nature. It acts like a absorbing sponge in you that now from next onwards, any pains come in, I will be very strong. It makes you very resilient in nature. Right? So like this, different points you have to write down. Right? Now next, what aspect can you discuss? Next aspect you can discuss is that bitter experiences are not the only way to learn your lessons. Right? Even good experiences teach you something. You are successful in something, you learn from that also. It's not always that, bitter experiences will teach you. Right? And second important thing is bitter experience is not enough. You have to transform yourself. If you keep on repeating the same things, even after bitter experience, nothing will happen. So, experiencing something bitter and then you transforming yourself, that is required. So, only experience is not enough. You should have a constructive mindset that now this has happened, this failure has happened, what to do next? So it's not just enough. Because people fail prelim 10 times, sorry, not 10 times, 4 times also. Still they don't learn out of it. Why? Because that was a bitter experience. But they didn't do a constructive criticism. They didn't transform themselves. They didn't analyze their mistakes. If you do the same things over and over again, result will be same. So just failing in prelim is not enough. Identify why did you fail and what you can do better will make it a best lesson. So just bitter experience is not enough. There are next steps which are needed. Then you can discuss from aspect of good experiences. They also teach us a lot. Not just failures or mistakes, but general. Your growing age teaches you a lot. Your parents teach you a lot. Your peers teach you a lot. So there are lessons which you can learn from different ways. So now this quote becomes a comprehensive in nature, where you first discussed why bitter experience is the best teacher. Then you discussed why bitter experience is not alone enough. Then you discussed there are other teachers also which can give you lessons, other ways of giving lessons also. So now this is an in-depth discussion of quote. Counter questions you have posed. Now it is comprehensive. Include examples here. And then you conclude the essay. Right? Yes, are we clear here? Yes, any doubt? So like this, you have to go through the various essay topics. Whatever is given in the paper. Today do one thing, in the next 1 week. Try to brainstorm in a similar manner all the previous year questions. Key I will give anyhow. It will be shared on the channel. But first try to do it from your side. Learning the art is most important. Like I told very first in the lecture. Key is not enough. It's just me spoon feeding you ideas. An exam, something very different will come. When you're talking about your essay writing, you have to develop that temperament, that mindset, that in this quote, which different questions I can discuss, which different dimensions I can discuss, how I can discuss the opposite of the quote, right? How I can give an opposite viewpoint with respect to quote. All these things combined, once you learn it, then only you can write essay. And this will come only with repeated practice. I will today share there's one whole post is there, where there is a detailed discussion about how to write essay. And then I have shared, I think, 8 to 10 previous year questions, short videos are there, where I just discuss which dimensions you can go through. Just watch them and then try to attempt an essay. And if you are, you have not joined any test series or not joined any mentorship for essay, what you can do is that open any topper's copy, from any institute. See on which topic he has written an essay. First you brainstorm, write an essay, then read his essay. Try to see a difference, right? But if you feel you are not very good with writing skills, you are not very good with your brainstorming, then try to get a mentor for you, because essay is very, very important. You need somebody to instill that skill of questioning. Somebody needs to check your paper. Somebody needs to check your essay to see whether you are writing in a correct direction or not. Right? So either you go through the topper's copy or try to see if you can have some senior, some peers or any teacher, anything, whichever way you are comfortable with. Right? You can go through it. But keep on writing. Essay will not come with mugging up facts. Essay will come with practice. Essay will come with brainstorming, asking questions. Right? Now, if you have any doubts also, keys I will share. If you have any doubts, personal doubts, you can message me on Telegram on this. Right? And if you are not student of R.C.Reddy, you have written some essay, any one essay, you are more than welcome to come, take time and show it to me. If you want just one session of 15-20 minutes, you have some personal problem you want to understand, or you have certain confusion, you can come. I am usually at the Institute, R.C.Reddy's, Himayat Nagar branch. I am there at around 1 p.m. Right? You can take time beforehand also here, just to get a strategy about your essay writing. All the previous discussed videos I will again share it on the channel today, right? And the keys in the coming days, right? Yes, are we clear here? Any doubt if you want to ask? Yes, anyone? Okay, we'll end the session here. Thank you.